Shmolty, give me the most sarcastic response you're capable of giving, please. I used the right you're. Proud of me? What a stupid fucking question.
I swear to God, I wanna just slip my wrist and end this bullshit.
Oh cool, another up-and-coming YouTuber is about to make money from answering hand-picked questions that all boost his ego and make him feel more important than he actually is. I can't wait to hear about his life story and how hard it is to be a YouTuber as opposed to having a real fucking job. Now you're probably thinking I'm a hypocrite for shitting on Q&A videos in the beginning of my generic Q&A video, and you're absolutely right. But aside from the assload of face reveal questions and some super creative memes such as, "Are you actually a cuck?" Or even better, "Are you actually a cuck?" There's some genuinely interesting questions being asked, and seeing as I am just hitting 50,000 subscribers, I'm starting to take this YouTube thing a little more seriously as opposed to just shitposting For Honor. And part of being a YouTuber is flaunting your life in the faces of millions and calling it entertainment, so let's do this shit. Mania582 asks, "Are you ever gonna do a face reveal? Also love your vids, keep making them for me, you cuck, that are the only way I can get good." I think this is the question I've gotten the absolute most, so I'm just gonna get it out of the way. Almost every big YouTuber does a face reveal at some point, and most of the time it's for enormous milestones such as 1 million subscribers, or other times it's to hopefully save their dying channel. If or really when I reveal my face, it's going to be for a purpose outside of just a milestone. I've been all over the YouTubes and I've tried many things. Actual real life skits is one of those things, which I think would be really enjoyable, but I don't have the time, resources, or channel identity to make content on that level yet. Don't worry, I'm not gonna become a vlog channel or abandon gaming. These are just some of my many ridiculous thoughts that go through my small, gray, furry head. Furry being the actual texture and not the persona. Sorry to disappoint, Subzerus. So, I'm not a furry, but how did my sloth persona come to mind? Another common question that I don't have a very exciting answer to. Friends of mine have called me a sloth for many years now, both because of the way I talk and my appearance. So it's as simple as a running joke that exploded into a YouTube channel. Shmolty the Sloth isn't a character that I made up, it's more of an extension of my sarcastic personality. I'm actually not a complete dickhead all the time, but I find that people laugh the hardest when I am. Because unlike the internet where anything can and will be taken completely out of context, in real life it's easy to convey that I'm joking and banter back and forth. Gobleb writes, "Have you ever been interested in dating an animal that isn't a sloth? Any of you kids old enough to have played Conker's Bad Fur Day on the N64? Yeah." Coming in hot from Gaunter O'Dim, how many accents can I do? It's hard to actually dive into that and come up with an exact number because the more voices I hear, the more I learn to impersonate. Since I was but a wee lad, I've been fascinated by different forms of speech and tried to perform them myself. I am an attention whore at heart, so I find something that gets a laugh and then I do it. It's very simple. I do voice, you laugh, I feel good, I get 50,000 subscribers, everyone is happy. So while I can't give you an exact number necessarily, I will say that it's at least 10. Chaboy Jose asks, "Why you don't play with subscribers? I only have the PS4, but it may be funny. Yeep, that kind of happiness." Well, Jose, I don't know what the fuck is going on in the second half of that tweet, but I have played with subscribers. If you watched either of my stream highlights videos or actually caught one of the streams, you would know this, you cuck. It has been a while though, and I'll admit that's intentional. Playing with subs can actually be really exhausting because you want to play with everyone, but you also want to get some of the new viewers in, and no matter what happens, someone is left out. Then you have the totally hilarious, edgy teenagers who use every banned word they can think of, apologize, and then continue to do it. So much edge, I think I cut myself. Frank's Arthur wants to know, what made you pursue YouTube for a living? There's a ton of different reasons why I make videos, but I'll try to keep it as simple as possible. For as long as I can remember, I've wanted to be some sort of entertainer, whether that's an actor, filmmaker, stand-up comic, stripper, or a YouTuber. I even tried out Vine for a week before I realized that I fucking hate Vine. Like most kids, I enjoyed attention, and quickly found that humor was the easiest way to keep it. And also, like most kids, my parents told me that I was funny and that I could do anything. But, unlike most adults, I was delusional enough to believe that. So I like making people laugh, I'm good at editing, and I enjoy video games. I'm sure you can fill in the blanks. A-Tanks inquires, how did you become a cuck? I want to be one. This video. Casey Bradish asks, what is your favorite game of all time? What is your favorite game RN? Your. I have a hard time picking all-time favorites in anything, really. There are a lot of different categories of video games, and each one is fun in its own way. If I had to pick one though, I would say Skyrim just because of the sheer amount of hours I poured into that game. Most of it was spent on my Xbox 360 that I no longer own, so it's tough to say an exact amount, probably at least 1,000. My favorite game at the time of writing this script would probably be The Surge or Dead Cells, simply because those are the games that I've been playing the most outside of For Honor, and each game has its own addictive grind. And no, For Honor isn't my favorite, but more on that in a bit. Mr. Bones would like to know, why is the For Honor community obsessed with fall comps? I mean, I understand at launch, but it's kinda sad the lack of anything original is starting to be boring. Because For Honor is a one-dimensional fighting game where the only comedic value to be found is betraying the adorable honor concept that everyone seems to cling to. So when you're losing a fair fight to your opponent and land a lucky parry, then proceed to throw them off the edge, they get very angry, which makes for a good giggle and around 80,000 views. I agree that it's unoriginal, and quite honestly, these are my least favorite videos to make. I try to be more original with my edits, or at the very least keep it interesting, but it usually ends up being pretty similar. But at the end of the day, people are laughing at it, and to me that's still worth it. The ad revenue doesn't hurt either. Ben Flood, I'm out of synonyms for, asks, why the name Shmolty? It's a nickname that my parents gave me when I was a youngster. My first name is Colton, and when you're young and cute, people like to add the letter Y to the end of your name like Benny or Sammy. They just took it one word further and said Colty Shmolty. Pretty cute and innocent nickname for how much of an asshole I am, huh?
Ironic.
My pal Grizzly Bear asks, will you marry me for tax purposes? Only if you blow me for pleasure purposes, you whore. And no, I'm not gay, but I might make an exception for Baus Phoenix. Eyepatch, spelled I-Y-E, wants to know, what are your plans for the longevity of your channel in the instance For Honor loses more popularity than it already has? Genuinely interested and love your content. Well, thanks, friendo. To answer your question though, I'm not 100% sure where I'll be taking my channel outside of For Honor, but I will be happy to leave it behind. I didn't start making For Honor videos because it was popular, I did it because I genuinely enjoyed the game. And while I still like playing from time to time, saying that I'm getting sick of it would be a huge fucking understatement. Some of my proudest videos outside of For Honor include the 5 oddly specific things in Shadow of War and Your Hate Brings Me Joy. While neither of these videos were particularly original in that Shadow of War was a parody of list videos and Your Hate Brings Me Joy was literally just reading hate comments and roasting people, I still found that I was really able to bring out my own sense of humor and personality and make these videos entertaining. I work just as hard on my For Honor content, but it's hard to make the same matchmaking sucks or Peacekeeper is broken joke funny after the 600th fucking time. The problem is I'm still not totally positive of my channel format. The humor will always be the same and mostly centered around gaming and pop culture, but that's about as specific as it gets. The only thing I know for sure is that I will never put out a video that isn't entertaining, at least in my opinion. Which segues into our next question, ever consider doing longer, slower content like Let's Play vids or stream uploads on a regular basis? Thanks for your question, Brennan. I've got a real spicy answer coming up. No. When it comes to ease of creation, Let's Play videos pretty much top the list. You play a game, record it, and say any and all dumb shit that comes to mind. Then in post-production, you line up the audio and video, export it, and upload it. In most cases, you're going to spend less time editing than you are actually playing the game, and since you probably played for over 10 minutes, you get that sweet watch time promotion as well as extra ad revenue. Everything I just described is great, and would probably benefit me in the short term tremendously. There's only one problem though. It's fucking boring. I'm not even talking about creating it, I'm just saying it's boring to watch. Sure, the top Let's Play guys have tons of energy and can be super fun and silly or whatever, and that's great. It's just not for me. I've said this before, but my attention span is shorter than Kevin Hart, so I have a hard time sitting through 15 minutes of straight up gameplay. And whenever someone asks me what kind of videos they should make, I always tell them the same thing. Make content that you would enjoy, otherwise why should anybody else? Now it's different when you chop up the gameplay and cut to the funnier and more interactive parts of the video, much like I did with Outlast 2. I personally find that this format is easier to watch and more entertaining overall. But that's just me. Patchy the Pirate asks, do you ever feel trapped into the games you play? I know how your viewers tend to horse you around to playing For Honor. Does it ever genuinely feel forced? I just want to be sure you are okay. I sort of already went over this, but I couldn't pass up this comment. This has got to be the most kind and caring person on the entire fucking internet, man. If everyone was more like Patchy, the world would be a better place. But to answer your question, yes and no. I don't hate making For Honor videos, otherwise I wouldn't work so fucking hard on making them. However, I do sort of feel pushed into the category of For Honor channel, which is not something I actually want. I know that's rich when you look at my history of content, but I have made little pushes here and there, and I'll continue to do so until I find something that really works. I'm not quitting For Honor necessarily, I just want this channel to be more than that. Leon asks, do you script everything before making videos? You just crack me up a lot. I do, and in fact I'm writing a script right now. Well, actually I'm reading this script out loud right now. Or I guess you're actually watching the result of me reading the script out loud right now. The point is, yes, I script my commentary. Psst, I wrote that entire bit in the script of this video. Ghost Gum wants to know, how do you feel when people compare your videos to Iron Pineapple? And he's got a nice thunk emoji in there. I suppose it depends on the context of the comparison, but for the most part I feel pretty indifferent. Iron Pineapple is part of my inspiration for videos, so I'm sure they'll be pretty similar sometimes. More often though, I get compared to Shammy and or Anthony Pitt 1 depending on the video. Once again, fair comparisons. People on the internet are so quick to claim that you're a ripoff of another channel just because your editing and sense of humor is similar. Nobody can be completely original on the internet, and I actually think it's helpful to mimic your favorite creators when you're first starting out. Maybe not video for video or word for word, but using the same kinds of editing or just learning from other creators is part of growing and developing your own style. I've seen plenty of videos that I could argue are copying me in some ways, but I think it's awesome. The fact that people liked my videos enough to mimic them just tells me that I'm doing something right. And that's enough hippie shit for today. I hope I was able to answer your questions adequately, and if not, watch the video again and give me some sweet watch time. Links are below if you want to follow me elsewhere, and I'm also including a link to a podcast my friends and I have been doing for a month or so called The Outcrowd. For the most part, we talk about cinema and gaming and make shitty jokes. It's still in infancy, and each episode is an improvement over the last, so keep that in mind if you want to have a look. But shameless self-promotion aside, I do genuinely appreciate the support you guys are showing me. I'm not good at the touchy-feely, but just know that I appreciate you.
You smart. You very smart.
It ain't hard to tell. I rock the show all by myself. You saw the freestyle dopeness. Without me, the scene's lost like the Catholic Church when it's hopeless. Yeah, it's hopeless.